You know, I've been getting into Smash Brothers recently, and I remember hearing there was this really old, really bad review of Melee when it first came out from a guy who's now infamous because of a 2-hour video from H-Bomber Guy that went over all of his various shenanigans. But you know what? Tons of pieces of media had to undergo critical reevaluations before they were generally believed to be excellent, so it wouldn't surprise me if Smash Bros. Melee was one of them. Plus, people do have a right to their opinions, so it's not as if a reviewer disliking a game I like is enough to make the review bad. This review is bad, though, and you're about to see why. I also couldn't find a copy of the original airing of this review on G4, so instead I'm having to rely on a copy of the rerun of it, which I'm near certain cut out certain parts of the review. What these parts are, I have no idea.
What do you think about Super Smash Bros. Melee for the Nintendo GameCube?
Well, you know, I gotta tell you, it's another GameCube letdown, another GameCube disappointment in my book. It goes down, another check one off.
I agree. I was not impressed with this game. And maybe the idea originally was kind of cool, but you know what? Now it's just a gimmick, especially on these amazing brand new consoles. And the GameCube is so powerful. I don't want to play an N64 game on the GameCube.
Right.
You're not, though. There are tons of differences between Super Smash Bros. On the N64 and Super Smash Bros. Melee. To give you all an idea of just how bare bones the N64 game was, all it really had was a very generic campaign mode and the versus mode, along with the training mode. There wasn't an endless brawl mode, there wasn't the home run minigame, there weren't any trophies, and I could go on. I'm not even getting into the characters you can play as in Melee that you couldn't play as in 64. Like Bowser, who you can see in this match right here you guys are using for footage, and who was absolutely nowhere in the original N64 game. Fuck, I can even tell you're playing as him because Kirby's lives are on the right, therefore the only character whose lives could be on the left is Bowser. You are playing as a character who wasn't in the N64 game while wondering what the difference is between this and the N64 game.
It has all the great Nintendo characters like Mario and Donkey Kong, and was Yoshi in there?
Yoshi's in there.
The princess.
Yeah, the one Nintendo princess. Also, to go back to an earlier point, you couldn't play as any princess in the N64 game, so there's yet another difference.
So you basically pick one character or a bunch of characters, and you fight against another character in some kind of Nintendo game environment. Kind of seems like it could be interesting, but the reality is that all you're doing really is just pushing buttons, and I didn't feel like there was any strategy whatsoever.
I mean, I guess that's a subjectively fine view to have, however, I'm forced to wonder how exactly you came to that conclusion, and by the way, the review's almost over, so it's not like Tommy has much time to explain. Also, and this is a corruption of English that isn't exactly Tallarico's fault, so I'm not holding him to account. It's just kind of something I've noticed. Even if there was strategy, you could still say all you do is press buttons, because that's how video games work. The vast majority of the time, at least. Obviously, there are exceptions like the Power Glove for the NES. However, not only are those rather few and far between, and were even more so in the era this review was made in. Remember, this was before the Wii's motion controls and the Xbox 360's Kinect. But also, none of them existed for the GameCube to my knowledge, so to play a GameCube game, you had to push buttons. You press buttons on the controller and then things happen. I guess unless you want to include the control stick, but Super Smash Bros. Melee uses the control stick. That's how you move in the game.
I'm giving this a 3 out of 10.
Wow, 3.
It's just not impressive.
Right.
The GameCube is supposed to be about the next steps and the next level of gameplay. This is exactly the same kind of gameplay.
Preach on, brother.
3 out of 10.
I give it a 2.5.
I want to end this commentary by pointing out, as H-Bomber Guy documented, that Tommy would go on to deny this review exists. Good night and good luck.